Now we're going to learn how to multiply decimals. Your instructions are find each product, which basically means multiplied. I notice my numbers, one of them has 2 digits, the other one has 3 digits. So I'm going to do one side of my box has 2 sides and the other one has 3 sides. Let me just go. One side has two sides, like 2 squares. The other side has 3 squares. So as you guys notice, I want 334 times 32. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my boxes in half. I always multiply the number on the top times the number at the side. So for my first square, I have 3 times 3, that's 9. 3 times 3 again, I know that's 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 again is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. My first row gives me just an 8. I copy just that number. My second row, I'm ignoring the zeros, so I'm looking at 6 plus 2, gives me 8. My next row, 1 plus 9 plus 6, that's 16. I'm going to write down the 6, carry down the 10. 1 plus 9 is 10, so write down the 0, carry down the 10. And my last one is just the 1. So my digits are 10688 for the digits. When I take a look at the sign, my signs are the same, 2 negative signs, and that makes a positive sign. So my answer would be positive. Now, when it comes to decimal place, right, my question had a decimal point. My numbers had a decimal point. Let me count my decimal places. Now, decimal places means how many numbers do I have after the decimal points. In one of my numbers, I have 1 decimal place. Like I said, how many numbers after the decimal point. In the other number, I have 2 decimal places. 1 and 2 combined, right? I'm going to add my decimal places. 1 and 2 combined, that's 3. So my answer will have 3 decimal places. So my answer is 10.688. Right? It's positive once again because my signs are the same. Let's take a look at question number 5. I'm just going to multiply my digits. 38 times 25. 38 times 25. I'm going to cut my squares in half. My first square, remember I always multiply the number in the top times the number at the side. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 5 is 15. 8 times 5 is 40. My first number is just a 0. My second row, 6 plus 4 plus 5. I know that's 15. I'm going to write down the 5, carry the 10. 1 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1. That's 9. And then my last 0, I'm just going to ignore. So my digits are 950. When I look at my decimal place, one number has 1 decimal place, the other one has 1 decimal place. Remember, decimal place means how many numbers after the decimal point. 1 and 1 combined is 2, right? I'm going to add my decimal places, so my answer will have 2 decimal places. Once again, decimal places means how many numbers after the decimal point. When it comes to sign, my sign will be negative. Remember, when I'm multiplying 2 numbers that have different signs, my answer is negative. So negative 9.50. Some of you might call this negative 9.5. The zeros at the end after a decimal point, the zeros at the end can be ignored. So negative 9.50 or negative 9.5, it is the same thing. Whichever one you type in on your homework, you will be correct. Remember, the zeros at the very end after a decimal point, but as long as they're at the very end on the far right, they can be ignored. All right, let's take a look at one more example. Now I have 3 digits times 2 digits, so I'm going to make a 2 by 3 box. So one side will have 3 squares, the other side will have 2 squares. So I'm going to go 298 times 84. Let me cut each of my squares in half. My first square, I'm looking at 2 times 8. Remember, the number on the top times the number at the side. So 2 times 8 gives me 16. 9 times 8 is 72. 8 times 8 is 64. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 times 4 is 36. 8 times 4 is 32. My first number on the far right is going to be a 2. Then let me add the digits on the second row. 4 plus 3 plus 6. That's going to be 13. So write down the 3, carry down the 10. 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 8. I'm just adding 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 8. That gives me 20. So I'm going to write down the 0, carry the 20. 2 plus 7 plus 6. That's going to give me 15. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So my digits are going to be 25032. My sign is going to be negative because when I'm multiplying numbers with different signs, my answer is negative. I notice that the first number has 2 decimal places. The second number has 1 decimal place. So that's altogether 3 decimal places. So my answer should have 3 decimal places. And that's just how you multiplied decimals.